Okay, so in this video, I want to show just a quick overview of the ngx-lite project. It's an Angular component library I'm currently working on. Um, in this video, I'm going to show how to make a kind of simple bug fix to one of the components. That way, if anyone wants to contribute to it, they can kind of get a rough idea of how to get about the project. So here I have the project cloned and opened in Visual Studio Code. And ngx-lite, if I open up the website here, is just Angular component library, and it is built with the Angular CLI. So all the documentation for that is built with the Angular CLI project. So in the project here, if I open up the source directory, I have my Angular application, along with all the components for the documentation about all the different components in this project. Now for ngx-lite, each component that is published is a standalone package with npm. So the one we're going to look at today is the progress package. So it has these two different progress meter, kind of progress bar component, and a progress circle component. So each one of these is its own standalone package. So this one's at ngx-lite/progress. That just allows you to install just the components that you need. So if I needed, say, just the tabs component, I could just install the tabs component. I don't have to install everything. Because of that, the project's kind of structured a little bit different than maybe a typical Angular library. So let's go back to the progress here. In our project, so we have our documentation, but because this is an Angular CLI project, we can have multiple project support. So CLI, you can have just your regular app, but you can also have multiple libraries or multiple apps. In this particular project, I've structured multiple projects, each project for an individual component that I want to publish. Most Angular libraries kind of publish these all together as just one library project. I've split them up. That way we can kind of have that individual install feature. So in our progress component, there's a small bug that I'm going to make a fix for, and just kind of want to show how that works and what it takes to make that fix. So the first thing I want to do is just in my command line terminal here, I'm going to go ahead and run ng-serve. We'll get this running. Okay, so we've got the local project running here, got the docs, so let's go to the progress here. So the bug with this component, our progress circle here, you can pass it a value and it will render out that value and kind of show a progress meter on that SVG element here. The bug though is on this particular example, we are passing in a value dynamically, which updates correctly, but if the value is static, it's not rendering out the SVG line correctly. So I need to go to that particular project. So we've got a little bit of configuration, kind of changelog readme, package version for this particular library. Source code is inside source. We want the progress circle. You can see here's our progress circle component. So let's go ahead and take a look at our template and our component here. So the bug for this is inside the component class, on init of the component, I update the progress value to 0. And that sets a few different properties here that updates some dynamic SVG here so we can render that out. The bug though is when I pass in a value through the input, that input value is set during the lifecycle time of ng on init. So this is actually kind of resetting that value. What I need to do is this progress needs to be initialized to 0 in the constructor instead of ng on init. This is just kind of happening too late in the life cycle. So I'm just going to move this up here. I don't really need that life cycle hook anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this stuff here and save it. Now, once I save this, I need to build this particular project. Now, as at the time of this recording, the Angular CLI doesn't support a watch mode for libraries. That's in the next version. So to build this, I need to run ng build, and then the name of the package or the project. So that's at ngx-lite/progress. So I run that, and that's going to run it through the Angular compiler, run it through, build everything I need to package it up for deployment. You can see the watch mode for the Angular documentation site does see those changes and updates. I just have to manually run the project build. So now that that's updated, let's go back to the website, double check here, and we can see everything is fixed. So if we were to have any type of unit tests for this component, we would also kind of write out and finish up those tests for our particular bug we found. The NGX components, a few of them have unit tests and end-to-end tests. Hopefully in the next coming months, I get a little bit of time to kind of improve that test coverage. But that is about it. With the versioning, usually I'll set that as a separate commit and redeploy that. But you should be able to make a PR with your bug fix, and that's about it. So hopefully everyone found that useful. Feel free to post any questions on the GitHub issues for the ngx-lite project. The website is ngx-lite.com. So that's the documentation, and then you can find the link to the GitHub repo with all the issues and anything else you need to find.